There are 48 teams at this World Cup, 48 countries, thousands of players, millions of fans, and I have done extensive, completely pointless research to bring you one unnecessary fact about every single one of them. Not their best player, not their odds, not their group, just the most useless, most specific, most why does this exist piece of information I could find about each nation. Let's go. Group A, Mexico. Mexico has appeared at the World Cup 17 times. They have reached the quarterfinals exactly 0 times, despite hosting the tournament twice. Their fans are so consistently loud that FIFA has officially warned them multiple times for chanting a homophobic slur in the stadium. The slur is directed at opposing goalkeepers. Every single game, for decades. FIFA keeps fining them. Mexico keeps doing it. It costs them roughly $65,000 per tournament. They keep paying. They are here to have a good time. South Korea. South Korea's national team is nicknamed Taeguk Warriors. That's a fine nickname. What's less fine is that in 2002, when they co-hosted the World Cup and made an improbable run to the semi-finals, their fans painted their faces red and wore devil horns in the stands, becoming known globally as the Red Devils. Years later, researchers calculated that this fan mobilization was one of the largest spontaneous public gatherings in recorded Korean history. Bigger than most protests, more organized than most concerts, all for football. Third place. They still haven't been back since. South Africa. South Africa introduced the world to the vuvuzela in 2010. Just to be clear about what the vuvuzela is, it is a plastic horn that produces a single note B-flat at approximately 127 decibels. That is louder than a chainsaw. FIFA received thousands of complaints from broadcasters and fans. Multiple players said they couldn't hear each other on the pitch. Scientists studied the noise. The BBC considered filtering it out of their broadcast. South Africa said, "Not our problem." They are correct. It is not their problem. Czech Republic, Czechia. Czechia has never won a World Cup. They have, however, won the European Championship in 1976 in a final decided by a penalty shootout where Antonín Panenka invented the chip penalty. The Panenka, you know the one. The audacious, slow-rolling, down-the-middle chip that requires extreme confidence or a total mental breakdown. Panenka himself now runs a Czech football magazine also called Panenka. The man named a magazine after his own penalty. Respect. Group B, Canada. Canada qualified for the 2022 World Cup for only the second time in their history, the first being 1986, when they went out without scoring a single goal. In 2022, they also went out without scoring a goal. Their total World Cup goal tally across 2 tournaments and 40 years of trying, 0. They have now qualified for a third time as hosts. Statistically, the trend suggests they are due. Historically, the trend suggests nothing is guaranteed. Switzerland. Switzerland has reached the quarterfinals of the World Cup 5 times. They have never once made it past the quarterfinals. 5 times. Never passed. They are the most consistent quarterfinal team in the history of the sport, a team that has turned almost into a lifestyle. Their country also makes the most expensive watches in the world and has not been at war since 1815. Genuinely, these people have figured something out, just not the World Cup. Qatar. Qatar hosted the 2022 World Cup and became the first host nation in World Cup history to be eliminated in the group stage. They lost all 3 games. They scored 1 goal against Ecuador. In the 50th minute of the tournament's opening match, the goal was ruled offside. The stadium went quiet. They are back. Bosnia and Herzegovina. Bosnia and Herzegovina's name is so long that their FIFA country code is simply BIH. Their kit manufacturer has been dealing with this problem for years. Their first ever World Cup appearance was in 2014. Their most famous player, Edin Dzeko, is from Sarajevo, a city that was under siege for nearly 4 years during the 1990s conflict, making it the longest siege of a capital city in the history of modern warfare. Dzeko grew up kicking a ball in those streets. None of that is unnecessary, but the FIFA country code thing is kind of funny. Group C, Brazil. Brazil is the only nation to have appeared in every single FIFA World Cup, all 22 of them. They have won it 5 times, more than anyone else. They are, statistically, the greatest World Cup nation in history. Their nickname, Seleção, simply means the selection. Not the Warriors, not the Lions, not the Eagles. Just the selected ones. Like they didn't even need a dramatic name. They just showed up and said, "We are the ones who were chosen." Confidence, honestly. Morocco. Morocco reached the semi-finals of the 2022 World Cup, the best run ever by an African nation. Their goalkeeper, Yassine Bounou, known as Bono, saved 2 penalties in a single shootout against Spain. He is now one of the most famous goalkeepers in the world. His nickname Bono predates the U2 singer. This has never caused an issue, except in every English-speaking headline ever written about him. Scotland. Scotland has never made it past the group stage of a World Cup. They have qualified 9 times. 9 times, group stage exit. What makes this more impressive is that Scotland essentially invented the game. The first ever international football match was played between England and Scotland in 1872. They have been playing this sport longer than most countries have known it exists, and they have never gotten out of the group stage. It is a very Scottish situation. Haiti. Haiti is making their second ever World Cup appearance. Their first was in 1974, where they became famous for midfielder Ernst Jean Joseph testing positive for a banned stimulant, becoming the first player ever drug tested at a World Cup. He was sent home. His coach later claimed Jean Joseph had taken medication for a headache. The substance was ephedrine. Jean Joseph spent the next several decades insisting it was for a headache. We will never know. He died in 2014. Haiti qualified again 52 years later. Group D. United States. The United States' greatest World Cup moment, a 1-0 win over England in 1950, considered one of the biggest upsets in the tournament's history, was so unbelievable that when the result was telegraphed back to newspapers in England, several editors assumed it was a typo. They thought the score must have been 10-1 to England. Some actually printed it that way. The US scored 1 goal. Joe Gaetjens, a Haitian-American dishwasher from Brooklyn, headed it in. The English press did not believe it happened. Paraguay. Paraguay has never won the World Cup. They have, however, produced an extraordinary number of professional footballers per capita, more than almost any other country in the world relative to their population. They are a nation of 7 million people that consistently qualifies for World Cups. Their entire football culture runs through a single city, Asuncion, where it is estimated that almost every neighborhood has a functioning competitive football club. None of this is unnecessary. The unnecessary fact is that their most famous stadium, Estadio Defensores del Chaco, is named after soldiers who died in a war against Bolivia in the 1930s. The war was largely about oil. It turned out there wasn't much oil. Australia. Australia's national team is called the Socceroos. That's it. That's the fact. The Socceroos. In a country with kangaroos, actual kangaroos, who hopped, they looked at their football team and said, Socceroos, not the kangaroos, not the wallabies. Those were taken. Socceroos. They have been called this since 1967. No one has ever successfully changed it. Turkey. In 2022, Turkey officially asked the United Nations and FIFA to stop calling them Turkey and start using Türkiye, pronounced Türkiye. Their stated reason was that the word Turkey in English also refers to the bird and to a failed endeavor and is generally used as a mild insult. FIFA agreed. The UN agreed. The bird is still called a turkey. The bird has not been informed. Group E. Germany. Germany has won the World Cup 4 times. They have also finished second 4 times and third 4 times. They have only not finished in the top 4 7 times across 20 tournaments. For pure consistency, no nation comes close. The unnecessary fact. Germany's 7-1 destruction of Brazil in the 2014 semi-final played in Brazil is referred to in Germany simply as Das Sommermärchen, the summer fairy tale, and in Brazil as something else entirely that we won't repeat here. A Brazilian TV presenter reportedly cried on air. The stadium fell silent by the 4th goal. Germany scored 3 more after that. Curaçao. Curaçao is an island nation in the southern Caribbean with a population of approximately 150,000 people. For context, that is smaller than most mid-sized cities. They are making their first ever World Cup appearance. Their squad is largely built from Dutch-born players of Curaçaoan descent. Because Curaçao is part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, players can choose either country. Several who could have played for the Netherlands chose Curaçao instead. That is either very loyal or a very strategic calculation about playing time. Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast produced what may be the most gifted generation in African football history, the golden generation of the 2000s and 2010s, led by Didier Drogba, built around Yaya Touré, Kolo Touré, Salomon Kalou, and others. With that squad, they never won the Africa Cup of Nations. They finished second in 2006 and 2012. They were eliminated in the group stage of every World Cup they entered with that team. Then, in 2015 and 2023, with less talented squads, they won AFCON twice. The lesson here is unclear. Ecuador has never beaten Argentina or Brazil in a World Cup match. Given that they have been drawn in the same South American qualifying group as both of those nations for their entire history, this is either unsurprising or deeply unfortunate. Midfielder Moises Caicedo, now one of the most expensive players in Premier League history after his £115 million transfer to Chelsea, grew up in Santo Domingo de los Tsáchilas, a city whose local indigenous community, the Tsáchila, are known for painting their hair red with achiote paste. Caicedo does not do this, but it is noted. Group F, Netherlands. The Netherlands are perhaps the greatest team to never win the World Cup. They have reached the final 3 times, 1974, 1978, 2010, and lost all 3. In 1974, they invented total football, a tactical revolution that changed the sport forever and still lost to West Germany in the final, despite being widely considered the better team. Dutch fans have a word for this recurring experience, but it is untranslatable. Oranje, their nickname, simply the word for orange, because that is their kit color, has become shorthand for beautiful, brilliant, and ultimately tragic football. A color. Their identity is a color. Japan. Japan's Football Federation was founded in 1921. They did not qualify for a World Cup until 1998, 77 years later. Since then, they have qualified for every single one. At the 2022 World Cup, after beating both Germany and Spain in the group stage, Japanese fans stayed behind in the stadium to clean up litter left by other supporters. This became international news. Japanese football culture considers this completely normal. It is not completely normal, it is extraordinary. Sweden's best ever World Cup finish was 3rd place. In 1994, their star player at that tournament, Tomas Brolin, scored 4 goals and was named in the All-Star team. He is now more famous in Sweden for opening a series of vacuum cleaner stores and for a brief, complicated period where he ballooned in weight and tried to return to Leeds United, went on trial, was rejected, and became something of a tabloid legend. His vacuum cleaner business is called Brolin. This is the full arc of Tomas Brolin. He was very good at football. Tunisia became the first African nation to win a World Cup match, defeating Mexico 3-1 in 1978. That is a legitimate historical fact. The unnecessary version, their squad at that tournament was selected partly through a government program that tracked athletic potential from childhood across the entire country, a centralized talent identification system years ahead of its time. Despite this, Tunisia has not won a World Cup match since 1978. The system worked once. Group G, Belgium. Belgium has been ranked #1 in the world by FIFA for a combined total of over 1,500 days. They won nothing during that entire period. Their golden generation, De Bruyne, Hazard, Lukaku, Courtois, Witsel, Mertens, company, was described as the best squad Belgium had ever produced, possibly one of the best in the world. They finished 3rd in 2018. That's it. The generation has now largely retired or faded. Belgium is currently ranked nowhere near #1. The trophy cabinet remains empty. This is Belgian football. Egypt has qualified for 3 World Cups, 1934, 1990, and 2026. That's a 36-year gap, and then a 36-year gap again. In between, they won the Africa Cup of Nations 7 times, more than any other country. Mohamed Salah, their best player, has been to the World Cup exactly 0 times before this tournament. He lost the AFCON final in 2022 on penalties. He missed a penalty in that shootout. He was photographed crying on the pitch. He's now 33 years old. This is his first World Cup. No pressure. Iran has played in 6 World Cups without ever getting out of the group stage until potentially 2026. At the 1998 World Cup, Iran played the United States, a match that was politically charged given the 2 countries' history, and won 2-1. Before the game, players from both teams exchanged flowers on the pitch in a gesture of goodwill. It was the most diplomatic thing that has ever happened at a World Cup. Then they kicked the ball around for 90 minutes, and Iran won, and their fans went completely insane. New Zealand, the all-whites, qualified for the 2010 World Cup and went unbeaten. They drew all 3 group games. They were eliminated. They had an unbeaten World Cup. They went home. No wins, no losses, just 3 draws and a flight back to New Zealand. It is statistically the most inconclusive World Cup campaign in history. They are back for only their 3rd ever appearance and seem entirely unbothered by this legacy. Group H, Spain. Spain's national team went from 1964 to 2008, 44 years, without winning a major international tournament. Then they won the Euros in 2008, the World Cup in 2010, and the Euros again in 2012, becoming the first team in history to win 3 consecutive major tournaments. Lamine Yamal, their current best player, and the player most likely to define the next decade of world football, was born in 2007. He was 3 years old when Spain won the World Cup. He is now arguably better than anyone in that team was. This is mildly terrifying. Cape Verde. Cape Verde, officially Cabo Verde, is an archipelago of 10 volcanic islands in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of West Africa. Their entire population is approximately 600,000 people. They are ranked 46th in the world by FIFA. For reference, there are 211 FIFA member nations. They have qualified for the World Cup for the first time ever, and they got here by beating teams 3 and 4 times their size. Their national stadium holds 5,000 people. The stadiums at this World Cup hold up to 80,000. Cape Verde have qualified for the World Cup. Saudi Arabia. At the 2022 World Cup, Saudi Arabia beat Argentina 2-1 in what was immediately called one of the greatest upsets in tournament history. Saudi Arabia's crown prince declared a national holiday the next day. The country was given an extra day off work to celebrate. Argentina then proceeded to win the entire tournament. Saudi Arabia were eliminated in the group stage. The national holiday still happened. It was genuinely a great win. Uruguay won the first ever World Cup in 1930. They also won it in 1950, beating Brazil on Brazilian soil in a match known in Brazil as the Maracanazo, a national trauma so severe that Brazilian players reportedly cried in the dressing room for hours, and the stadium fell into stunned silence as 200,000 fans processed what had happened. Uruguay has never won it since. They are a country of 3.5 million people who won the World Cup twice and have been dining out on it for 75 years. Correctly so. Group 1 France. The French national anthem, La Marseillaise, contains the lyric Qu'un sang impur abreuve nos sillons, let impure blood water our furrows. It is one of the most violent national anthems in the world, written during the French Revolution about killing invaders. French footballers, who are among the most multicultural squad in the tournament, 2nd and 3rd generation immigrants from across Africa and the Caribbean, belt this out before every match. The irony is not lost on many. The football, however, is very good. Senegal. Senegal's 2002 World Cup run, their first ever appearance, included a 1-0 win over defending champions France in the opening match. The scorer, Papa Bouba Diop, celebrated by removing his shirt, laying it in the corner flag area, and dancing around it with his teammates in what became one of the most iconic World Cup celebrations ever. Diop passed away in 2020. When Senegal qualified for the 2022 World Cup, their fans held up images of him in the stands. He never got to see them reach the quarterfinals that year. Football is sometimes genuinely sad. Iraq is making only their 2nd ever World Cup appearance. Their first was in 1986, when they lost all 3 group games and scored 1 goal. In the 38 years since, they won the Asian Cup in 2007, defeating Saudi Arabia in the final, during a period when their country was in the midst of extreme conflict and instability. The entire nation watched that final. Players reportedly received calls from the government mid-tournament. They won anyway. Their star midfielder at the time said, "We wanted to give our people one day of happiness." They did. Norway. Norway has Erling Haaland. This is genuinely enough. But the unnecessary fact, Norway actually qualified for the 1994 World Cup and beat Brazil 1-0 in the group stage, which is a sentence that sounds made up. Their commentator's reaction to that goal, "Vi er best I verden," we are the best in the world, followed by pure chaos, became one of the most famous pieces of football commentary in Scandinavian history. Norway did not advance past the group stage. They were not ultimately the best in the world, but for about 90 minutes. Group J, Argentina. Argentina has won the World Cup 3 times, 1978, 1986, and 2022. All 3 times, a supernatural level of individual brilliance carried them through. Military-era politics in 1978, Diego Maradona's hand of God and goal of the century in 1986, and Lionel Messi finally winning the thing he was always supposed to win in 2022. The unnecessary fact: Messi is 38 years old and playing in MLS. He still made this squad. He is still, per statistical tracking services, in the 99th percentile of value created among all footballers on the planet. He is 38, in MLS top 1%. It does not add up, he does not care. Austria's best World Cup finish was third place in 1954. In the semi-final of that tournament, Austria beat Switzerland 7-5 in a match that remains the highest scoring game in World Cup history. 12 goals, one match. It still hasn't been beaten. That was 72 years ago. Austria have not come close to replicating it since. The score still stands, 12 goals. It's right there in the record books. Jordan is making their first ever World Cup appearance. Their qualification was considered one of the genuine surprises of the entire process. Their squad is filled with players from the Jordanian Domestic League and a handful of European-based professionals. They qualified through the Asian pathway, beating countries with exponentially larger football infrastructure. Their captain, Yazan Al-Naimat, plays in the Saudi Pro League. The entire country has approximately 11 million people. They are here. Nobody expected them. They are here. Group K Portugal, Cristiano Ronaldo is 41 years old and is at the World Cup. This requires a moment of acknowledgement. He has won just about every individual honor the sport offers. He has scored more international goals than any player in history. The one thing he has never won is the World Cup. He has one last chance on the biggest stage at 41 years old. If he wins it, it will be the most absurd ending to the most absurd career in football history. If he doesn't, he will retire as the greatest scorer who ever lived, and will have to explain that to nobody. He owns a chain of hotels, several of which have statues of himself in the lobby. Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan is making their first ever World Cup appearance. They qualified through the Asian pathway. Their best player, Abdulkadir Kusanov, plays for Manchester City. He is 24 years old. Before signing for City, he was playing in France for Lens. Before that, he was playing in Uzbekistan's domestic league, where the average salary is approximately £500 per month. He is now a Premier League champion. Uzbekistan are at the World Cup. The range of human experience in this tournament is genuinely enormous. Colombia's James Rodriguez won the Golden Boot at the 2014 World Cup with 6 goals in 5 games. He was 23. His goal against Uruguay in the round of 16, a chest control and volley from outside the box, was voted the goal of the tournament. He became one of the most famous players on earth overnight. The next decade was various degrees of injury, inconsistency, and decline. He is now 33 and reportedly in the best form he's been in years. He is back at the World Cup. Whether the James of 2014 still exists is the most interesting subplot Colombia have going. Group L, England. England won the World Cup in 1966 at home. They have not won it since. They reference it constantly. Their supporters sing about it. Their media analyses every subsequent failure through the prism of it. 60 years of it's coming home, and it has not, in fact, come home. Their manager, Gareth Southgate, was sacked last year after taking them to 2 consecutive European Championship finals without winning either. England fans booed him. He left. They now have a new manager. The trophy has not come home. It has been 60 years. It may yet come home. Probably not this year, but it might. Croatia has a population of approximately 4 million people. They reached the World Cup final in 2018, losing to France 4-2. They finished third in 2022. For a country that only became independent in 1991 and played their first international in 1992, reaching 2 consecutive semifinals within 30 years of existing as a nation is a statistical anomaly of remarkable proportions. Luka Modric is 40 years old and is still in this squad. He won the Ballon d'Or in 2018. Ending the Messi-Ronaldo stranglehold that had lasted over a decade. He is 40. He is here. Ghana reached the quarterfinals of the 2010 World Cup and became one of the last remaining African teams. In the quarterfinal against Uruguay, with the score level deep in extra time, Uruguay's Luis Suarez handled the ball on the goal line, a clear goal-saving handball. He was sent off. Ghana had a penalty to go to the semi-finals and potentially make history. Asamoah Gyan hit the crossbar. Uruguay won on penalties. 48 teams. 48 completely unnecessary facts. One of these teams is going to lift the trophy on July 19th at MetLife Stadium. If you enjoyed this, subscribe, because I'm covering every game of this tournament and there will be many more unnecessary facts along the way. And drop in the comments which team's fact hit different.